Hi, Joey.
Lick it now, lick
guys.
it good. Suck that. Let's see that. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Kevin. How does it go? I'm sorry, Kevin.
What a way to start season 4.
Mm-hmm. Season 4.
that what
we're
Holy
on?
shit. We
Holy
are
shit.
on season 4.
Wow.
Is it season 4?
Season 4.
And only 4 people
episodes.
have watched it.
Yo,
And we took a
have
4-month
concurrent
hiatus.
viewers, bro. We have 13 concurrent viewers. I
Yeah,
read the
don't
stats.
disrespect our listeners, okay?
All 13
They're here
of
for
them.
us.
Hey, we keep getting followers and we're not putting shit out, so part of me
That's
says
true.
we should never put out another episode.
That's true. Listen, we're nearing. Speaking of which, if you're listening to this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us at FlixFellas on YouTube, Flix_Fellas on Instagram, and also FlixFellas on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you find your podcasts. We're nearing 100 subscribers on YouTube. Please help us make that push. And if we get to 500, Kevin will shave his head.
500
Yes.
by March, by my
March.
birthday.
Yeah.
By March,
Please,
and
go
his wedding
subscribe.
is in July, so
It would be
we
so
would
good.
love to see it.
It would be
Well, wait,
so
there's plenty
good.
of time between March and July.
You're never going to get
Kevin.
that one back.
Your hair is thinning already, okay? It's not going to grow back.
Whoa, I have beautiful hair. Do not even say that. I'm
Just kidding. Just
Oh,
kidding.
all three of us, honestly, like this is the Flix Fellas podcast, but it's also like the solid hair podcast. Like none of us have like bad hairlines
Bro.
or like thinning hair.
Yeah,
got
we've
too
got some
much hair.
voluptuous hair.
I got
We
too-
do.
I-
We really do.
I have no lack.
I don't know
of
about
hair.
you guys, but I go to Top Notch Salon. They take care of me. Ad sponsor.
Nice. Sponsor, top notch, 10 and 10.
Shameless plug. But yeah, thick hair squad. So long hiatus.
Long hiatus.
It's been a while. What have you guys been watching? What have you guys been streaming lately? I know we have one goal today for one movie, but any shows you're streaming? Like, what have you guys been up to?
I am one episode behind currently on House of the Dragon. It's not really a streaming show, but it is. I've been watching it on HBO. I haven't been watching it live, so it feels like I'm streaming it.
Busy summer. Everyone's been busy. I'm engaged.
Yeah, Kevin's engaged.
That's a
now.
nuisance.
You're engaged? Why didn't you
I'm
tell us?
engaged.
Oh my god!
Congrats to Kevin.
Well, we weren't filming when I got engaged. Were we filming when you guys got engaged?
When I was, yes. Not when
James
Joey
was. No, I
Maybe
think
not
we
Joe.
made like one episode when I was. I think our last.
well,
episode
Joe's
of season
engaged
3.
too.
Yeah,
It's
we're all
true.
We're
engaged.
cuffed.
All the boys, listen, Flix fellas are engaged.
You know what I watched last night?
Tell us.
One episode. There's 3 out, I think, but I watched one episode on Hulu. It's called Reboot. It's a new show.
Oh, it looks
know anything
horrible
about
to
that.
me. I've seen
No,
so
it
many
re-
ads for it.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's actually not that bad at all.
Oh, really?
It's actually
Really?
kind of funny. It's
It
actually
looks like a
decent
classic,
sitcom.
like early 2000s sitcom that is trying to be modern by being retro, and it just doesn't.
They're making fun of those.
Yeah, okay.
That's the whole point of the show, is to make fun of like the Full House reboot
Mhm.
and the like
Friends
the
reunion.
Connors, which is a reboot of
More
whatever.
satire than-
Yeah, like all yes, and it's like it's Keegan Michael Key,
I love Keegan Michael
Judy
Key.
Greer, Johnny Knoxville were all on this show in like the early 2000s, and now Hulu is trying to reboot it. Like Hulu is the
That's so
service
funny.
of the show. It's pretty meta. It's pretty funny. So just throwing that one out there.
How do we feel about Keegan Michael Key doing another satire show after what was that movie we watched?
Peele?
Oh
The-
God, that was horrible.
you mean the-
no? What
oh
was
my
the
God.
last one we watched?
The Bubble.
The Bubble.
Yeah.
The Bubble. I was going to say the Black
Horrible.
That was garbage.
Horrible.
Yeah, that's hot garbage.
That's why I think I'm
Horrible.
hesitant to watch that show because
Right.
the ads make it look similar to that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to touch this.
He's so funny
But-
though.
No, it's
like,
not
he's
bad.
so funny. Like, and especially in like skit
He is
comedy,
so
he's
funny.
so funny. But I feel like some highlights from over the summer, at least for me, were like House of the Dragon. I'm currently watching. The Boys was a big one for the summer. I watched all The Boys this summer.
Oh, yeah.
I watched, which I didn't think it wasn't like, again, it's like it wasn't bad, but it like has lost a lot of the luster that like the original season had.
I could do a whole episode talking about that last season of The Boys.
Yeah, maybe we will. Hey, comment below if you want us
Maybe
to
we
do
will.
that. We will. But the other thing, so something I've been binging a ton is with Alex is we've actually gone back. I've never seen Friends ever. So we've been going back and literally watching Friends from stem to stern, and we're like halfway through the show. Yeah,
That's shocking that you've.
Friends has like I don't think I've never sat like Jewel has had it on. People have had it on like in college and stuff. I don't think I've ever legitimately laughed.
dude, it's good.
At Friends.
That's actually wrong.
Or like chuckled.
I promise
Yeah,
you,
I
the
have
writing.
no interest.
Dude, the writing is so good. It's so good. Like especially compared to other like rom-com sitcom shows. Like the writing of Friends is funny. Like it actually is.
I think I'm just a product of like How I Met Your Mother, and like I watched that like
I think it's better.
live on TV. Like no, like I get that. I just like I think I'm a product of that, and going to Friends just feels like a step backwards, and like I don't have any interest because I feel like they're so similar,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
in a lot of ways that
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just like,
How I Met Your Mother was born from
Yes.
Friends, essentially.
Yes,
So they
absolutely.
laid the groundwork, and then How I Met Your Mother kind of did it in a better way.
Yeah.
Instead of
but-
a coffee shop, they're in a bar.
with more of
Instead
like a linear.
Yeah. They just like modernized it for like more
Yeah.
adult TV. I did also watch Midnight Mass, which I know I've talked with Kev about.
Still haven't watched it. We
You
we
still
actually
haven't watched
thought about
it?
starting it. Still haven't watched it.
Your mom was actually
Mhm.
the one who told me about it and
Yeah,
got me into it. So
She did like it.
that's worth a watch, I think. Whether it seems religious heavy, but it's not really. So
but just not as good as Hill House. So I've heard because it's the same guy. That's the same.
it's the same creators.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I kind of maybe liked it better than Hill House because I think Hill House
Okay.
was trying to be like just too mysterious that it almost didn't make sense. And there was a lot
Yeah.
of plot holes. Whereas this show, like, it does make sense, but they don't tell you like why, essentially. But as a viewer,
Interesting.
you know what's going. It's very weird, but I think if you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it, so
Okay.
I
I'll watch
liked it. I think it makes it easier to understand almost
Yeah.
than Hill House.
I've got two more, and then we'll jump into our actual show. One, I know James Joe hasn't watched. Don't know if James watched it yet, but Andor on
Haven't watched it
Netflix
yet.
or Disney Plus.
Didn't get a chance.
Fantastic for any listeners who are remotely interested in Star Wars. It's a refreshing story in Star Wars. No, like 3 episodes are out, no cameos, nothing like that. So it's very like contained and not very like servicey, which is good.
Mhm.
Other one that you guys should watch if you haven't watched it yet. It's on Hulu. It's called The Patient. Have you watched?
I started
The
that.
Patient.
I watched the first 2 episodes. I
Very
haven't
good.
finished because that's all that was out at the time and just forgot. I
They're up to 5.
don't love the thriller drama genre being told
The
in
thramas?
20-minute episodes. Yes.
I don't mind it.
To me, it's a little like,
It's very housey.
you know what? I would rather wait until the whole season is out and then binge it because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of leaves off with a cliffhanger, and after 20 minutes,
Huge
I don't
know how you haven't watched the third one yet.
well, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like after 20 minutes, I don't want a cliffhanger every time, especially when you're going to release it weekly. So I'm kind of just waiting till they're all out, just so
Fair.
I can kind of binge it because that's
Yeah.
what TV has programmed me to do now.
True.
So
All right.
That's fair.
I had 2. I know that you're like, all right, 2 more that
Hit
we're
it,
done.
James.
But I was like, we haven't
Hit
talked
it.
about the 2 bangers of the summer. Like literally the 2 biggest shows that came out this summer. First, Stranger Things. Stranger Things rocked. The 4th season rocked. It's the best season since the first. It's not as good as the first, but I think it's the best season since the first. And then ObiWan came out this summer, which was also a banger.
Yeah.
ObiWan was a
Yeah.
huge success, in my opinion.
Obi-Wan was great. Obi-Wan should have been a movie.
Yes.
I don't think it needed the episodic format, and they put in a lot of things, I think, just because it was a TV show that
Yeah, they needed to
like,
fill time.
I think were relevant.
Mhm.
And but fantastic
Dude.
all around. That last episode was one of the best pieces of Star Wars content I've consumed in a long time.
The Obi-Wan Darth Vader like storyline, the untold storyline.
Yeah.
Ugh, You know that's what it's about. You know what I mean?
Well, I was just gonna say, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet, so I'll give the second. But man, that last fight was just awesome.
Oh,
Awesome.
love it.
Seeing ObiWan throw up like the two fingers with the lightsaber up here.
It's amazing.
You're just
it's amazing. Makes my little kid's Star Wars brain happy.
Fuck. Yeah. And when he's like, you did not kill Anakin. I did. Or whatever it is.
It's such a good storyline.
Fail, yeah.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's intro The Gray Man, our third film with the Russo Brothers directing, written by Joe Russo, Christopher Marcus, and Stephen McFeely, starring Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, and Billy Bob Thornton. The Gray Man is about when the CIA's most skilled operative, whose true identity is not known to anyone, accidentally uncovers the dark agency's secrets, causing a psychopathic former colleague to put a bounty on his head, setting off a global manhunt by international assassins. A lot of action, a lot of drama, kind of unique. We'll decide if that's true or not. Let's get into some first reactions. Kevin, hit us with your trash standing.
Yeah, my fucking shit opinion. Yeah, I mean, this one I had been not avoiding, but I wasn't like ever jumping to watch it. Julia had really wanted to watch it. I had a few folks kind of, throw it on my radar and say, oh, it's really good, but the trailers, it just seemed forced and corny, and I know I don't like I say, I don't try not to watch trailers for things, but this one was hard to avoid, and ended up watching it, and I had fun. I thought it wasn't anything groundbreaking. It stuck to like a very typical formula of the backstabbing, like spy kind of formula, there's going to be a twist and, it's going to be the good guy. And like, it wasn't like nothing surprised me, I guess, in it. But it was fun. Like, I had a good time watching it. I liked the actors. The story was good. Like, it kept me entertained. Maybe a little too long. Maybe it dragged a little bit here and there. But all in all, I had a good time, and it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It wasn't a waste of my time.
Okay.
I guess that's not much of a compliment.
Is that your bare minimum? Is like, it didn't waste my time.
It didn't waste my time.
I don't want a refund.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want a refund for my Netflix subscription.
Cancel my yeah.
Okay, James.
So I think honestly, I was disappointed. I think is one thing I'm going to say about this movie. Like, I don't think it did anything. I agree that I don't think it did anything terribly wrong. It definitely didn't do anything terribly right. I was definitely, and I might be interpolating.
I say T-word.
Interpolating. The interpolation that I was making was essentially, I saw Chris Evans and Ana de Armas, and I was like, oh, like, it gave me Knives Out vibes, and I was like, I'm excited because he's like no spoiler alert for Knives Out, but like Chris Evans is like the snarky bad guy, and like Ana de Armas is like. And like, she wasn't like kind of she doesn't know what's going on in this movie, but I see the combo in like a sort of action movie, and I was so impressed by Knives Out that I kind of wanted this to be on that same tier, but I just kind of wasn't like, and I don't think it was like, I did like Chris Evans' character. It's just the plot. Like, this was a relatively big cast. This was a high budget movie, at least it seemed like it, and it definitely didn't take any risks. It didn't it didn't give me a compelling enough plot to really care what was going on. Like, I was just kind of following the rivalry between Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans' characters. All of the subplots I was not interested in. Like, I was not really tied to Billy Bob Thornton's character. I was not really tied to the daughter, So, that my overall thing is, I think it wasn't, I agree that it didn't it didn't thrill me. It did disappoint me. But I don't know if that's my fault or the movie's fault. So what do you think, Joey?
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you. I think that there was so much marketing done for this movie. Like Kev said, that like it was hard to avoid any trailers or kind of spoilers into the plot of it. But like he also said, like I saw so much and it never excited me to be like, I have to watch this now. Like I was very okay to wait and watch this movie for the podcast because I didn't want to be like, I need to watch this tonight type of thing. There were some movies over the summer that I was like, I know this is a Netflix original or I know this is an original and that we should wait till the podcast to watch, but I was like excited to watch and I watched it. This wasn't one of those. There was some exciting moments to it. I think like the aesthetic of it, the Russo Brothers do have a very like artsy style to them, which I kind of like, and then sometimes I think they just overdo it where it feels a little cheesy. But I get what you guys are saying too, that like, I don't know. I'm very conflicted with this one just because I think like it was very unrealistic. There was, like James said, there's a lot of subplots that you just don't kind of really care about. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it's just nothing.
It's a
crazy.
generic spy thriller. It's a super generic spy
it's
thriller.
nothing.
Yeah.
Honestly, we'll get into the spoil. It's hard to talk about this without saying spoilers. That's why I'm like a little jumpy here. But there really wasn't anything that I thought was like, oh my god, or didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So I didn't love it, but I also was entertained for most of it.
Yeah.
Good entertaining aspect. From a critical analysis point, I think there was a lot of things wrong with it. With that, do you guys want to give our first reactions, or do you want to?
Not often are we in this position.
Not often do we all agree on something. Usually it's I say something, Kevin says something, I'm like, I don't know if I agree, and Kevin goes, James, you're an idiot.
Well, not often do we also agree. We're all kind of in the middle on something like this. Usually it's like one person loves it, one person hates it, one person's in the middle, or 2 and 1. But this is the first time I think we all seem to be kind of. I really don't know where you guys are going to go.
Truly neutral. Yeah.
Yeah. So, James, why don't you start this one?
I think I'm going to keep scrolling on this one. Strictly because if this movie was an hour and a half, I would click play. It's over 2 hours. It's not worth it. It's not worth the time.
Okay.
Keep scrolling. Kevin.
I think I'm clicking play. I thought it was fun and entertaining, and while it wasn't anything crazy, I don't think you should just ignore it if you have any interest in it. Like, watch it. It's not a keep scrolling in my mind. Just hit play if you're interested and give it a watch, because it won't. I don't think it'll disappoint you, like James is saying.
I'm disappointed. I'm a disappointed father of this movie. I had no hand in making it. I have no parental calls to this movie, but I'm disappointed. I'm not mad at this movie. I'm disappointed.
I think I'm leaning Kevin, where there is a great cast and great acting behind it, that it's kind of I'm not going to run and advertise this movie to everybody, but it's hard to say like it's a trash movie or it's terrible. I think there is good aspects to it that it's worth watching. I think I'm going to change my own mind once we get into the spoilers on this.
Me too, Joey.
But
what else is new?
Look, there are movies that are hardcore, do not watch. This is not one of them. This has some good aspects to it. You will be entertained. It's a little long, but there's good acting. There's good dynamics to it. So I'm going to say press play for now.
No.
Also, it's Anna de Armas. She's hot.
That's true. She's absolutely beautiful.
Chris Evans, who's also hot.
And Chris Evans.
He is a daddy. That mustache.
A super
daddy. My gosh.
All I'm hearing is I think Chris Evans is one of Kevin's hall passes.
Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't my hall pass, I would ruin my life.
Captain America, America's
ass. Risky decisions. Yeah.
I would Adam Levine the shit out of Chris.
What a topical.
Anybody?
Current
topical
events.
So funny.
Topical?
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Topical.
All right.
Yeah. That is our first reactions and our decisions. Let's take a word from our sponsor, and then we will get into the spoiler section where we will break down the movie even further and talk about some of the nitty-gritty details that we liked and hated.